Welcome to Just a Tip, where we say the shit that everyone's thinking and no one is saying. We're not here to sugarcoat the industry. We're here to talk real stories with the people that are shaping the city. Today's guest, you already know him, or at least your algorithm does. Mr. Eats 305, aka George Arango. Probably the most recognized food content creator in Miami. And unlike most of the influencers out there, when this guy posts a place, something usually happens. He's not out here begging for free food in front of every steakhouse. He's out there showing love to most of the joints most of you have never heard of. The ones with 6 tables and a line out that door. And I'll be real with you, George is one of the few people in this game that actually gives a damn about the community. In this episode, we get into how he went from law school to full-time food hustle, why he stuck with authenticity when everybody else sold out, what it takes to build trust in a hype-built city, and how he became that guy, the ones restaurants actually want on their side. Let's get into it. This episode of Just a Tip is brought to you by Rooftop Solutions. So the craziest thing happened. You might have even seen it in the news. A restaurant in Wynwood had to shut down for years after a leaky roof caved in. Imagine all that money, time, momentum gone just because the roof wasn't handled right. And that's why I always recommend Rooftop Solutions. They've been protecting homes and businesses all over Miami-Dade and Broward for over 20 years. They're local, based in Hialeah, and they take pride doing the job with honesty and craftsmanship so your roof stands the test of time. And here's the deal. If you got a leak, they will patch it for free while prepping your roof to be replaced. So unless you want to add a lazy river in your dining room, call Rooftop Solutions, tell them Felix sent you. Guys, super excited today. We have a special guest today. Did not think he was going to be able to come on, but he pulled through and he proved me wrong. Today we have Mr. Eats 305 himself, George Orango. I'm super honored to have him, man. Thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me. Of course I was going to make it.
I mean, you know, like recently we've had some crazy guests on, but, you know, I've been following your career for a while. So, you know, I think that me and you are very similar in our styles and, you know, the type of food we like. And, you know, we have obviously a lot of the same friends. And, you know, this is really just a special treat for me, man.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is great. Anytime we can talk about food and beverage and the scene in Miami and just everything, just hang out, it's great.
So for those of you who don't know who George is, he is the food content creator, influencer. What do we kind of call you these days?
Yeah, I mean, that word kind of gets like, it's interchangeable sometimes, but if you kind of know the difference. So I don't try to make content to influence people to go buy a product or go to a restaurant. I like saying content creator because influencer has that bad reputation of like, I don't know, you know how it is. Like people asking for free things or asking for money or like they're doing this just for the likes, and like the likes are nice, the fame, whatever you want to talk about it. But at the end of the day, I create content that helps our community, that helps businesses, help consumers. And that's why I do it, for the storytelling more than like the influence. That's just like the after fact.
You know, I did a video recently where I dropped your name and, you know, said that I've seen you change businesses overnight, you know, and I really meant that, you know, where maybe some people don't really get the business and what you do. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, because I think a lot of people really don't understand the business model. They see people on, a lot of the times restaurants think that, you know, content creators and influencers and anything to do with food, you know, even people come to me and they're like, hey, would you like a free dinner? I'm like, I'm not an influencer. I'm not a, you know, like the content that we create, it's for the community. It's not, I'm not gaining anything of it. I'm not doing anything from it. Listen, I like a free meal, but I'm not, you know, that's not what we do and why we do it. But before we even get into all that, man, I'm so curious to know just a little bit about your background, because, you know, I think you came on the scene around 2016, but I heard rumors, bro. I heard that you were a DJ.
Yeah. So that is where kind of the story actually starts, is the DJing. Coming out of Belen Jesuit, the all-guy prep school in West Miami, 2011, peak of kind of Miami nightlife, DJing, all that. I was inspired and influenced by the community and loved music. And throughout college at FIU, that's kind of was my full-time job. Learned about Miami, understanding the market of Miami through experience being out and having residencies at the club, and business, marketing. I saw the change from digital like flyers to digital, let me post a flyer now on Instagram. And when Instagram at that time, you had no stories, you had nothing. It was just a photo sharing app. So the second you got more than 10 likes, the names disappeared, and it was like a big feat at that time.
Did you do street team at the time? Were you doing some street team for yourself?
Luckily, I didn't need to do the street team.
Right.
But we had a good community of people at FIU.
What were some of your favorite places that you spun?
One of my favorite residencies was FDR at the Delano.
Yep.
I had like a Monday and Friday night, sometimes Wednesday night residency, and that was open format, more hip hop, more R&B. But I played at Live, which that was a bucket list thing to do. Played there 2 or 3 times. That space was fantastic at the old terrace before they renovated it.
Right.
So they still had like the old train horn, and like got to pull on that.
The Robbie Tronco.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. That was fun, and that was what led me into law.
Right.
Which I don't know if we have gotten there yet.
Again, we're gonna get there, but somebody told me, I was like, they're like that you were a lawyer, and I'm like, wait, that you went to law school. I'm like, wait, what?
I've lived many lives, wear many hats, but every single step along the way has led me to kind of where I am today.
Right.
So DJing led to wanting to be an attorney because at that time, that was what I deemed, or my parents deemed, as like successful. You had to be a doctor, an attorney, or an accountant. That's old school. Like I was the first one to go to college. So
what kind of law did you think you were going to go into?
Well, I was working at like an insurance firm, but because of my love for music, I'm like, you know what, legal, I could do one thing one day and then turn into something another day. And entertainment law was always attractive because I love sports, love music. And that was kind of what was in the back of my head when I was in law school. But Mr. Eats was born before law school. When my wife and I first started dating, we were just going out to eat like couples do when they first start dating. That's what they do.
What kind of places were you going to?
The first ever post on Mr. Eats, which I don't know if it's still up or archived, is Pride and Joy.
Barbecue.
You
know, it's funny. I was talking to Paul this morning. He DM'd me.
Yep.
And, I used to love that place.
Yeah.
They had the mechanical bull in the back.
So much that I created a post. I think I posted 2 pictures. I don't remember the dishes right now, but I remember one of them having pulled pork, and it just looked...
Pulled pork was fantastic.
Heavy, and I was like, oh, that's so good. To the point where I posted these pictures on Snapchat first, and I had 4 or 5 of my friends DM me on Snap. And they're like, oh, what'd you order? Where is this? And that gave me that idea of like, let me create a platform or a page where these guys could go to find out where to take their partners out on these dates. So I was kind of curating the page for it to be like food for dudes.
Right.
So not only
what year was this?
2016, early 2016.
So this was 16, and I mean, you know, things have happened so crazy over the last 9 years. Were there any other pages that were doing it or doing it well?
This is like that in-between phase of blogs turning into social media pages. So there had been blogs, but Food Network is the biggest inspiration. But I think Sammy already had, like Naughty Fork already had her page.
Right.
But a lot of other people in my community were doing this for all of their hobbies.
Right.
So if people love traveling, there was like a couples page that loved traveling. People loved another guy, I forgot what his actual handle was. In high school, he started a page that was just sharing like nature things, and it was doing really well, and it was becoming like kind of his full-time thing. So I was like, oh, it's cool. Like I'll just create that page to help people find our adventures, and nothing of it. Like it was just a hobby. Little by little, I realized that I had to move away from the Foods for Dudes because most of the followers that I were getting were women.
Amazing.
And it's like, that's kind of like the early signs of shifting and understanding your business and not sticking to like what you thought your business was going to be and being receptive to what it's actually turning into.
Still a great name for a page.
No, Mr. Eats and Food for Dudes was great. It was always Mr. Eats 305, but the hashtag, you know, hashtags were big at that time. It was always like Food for Dudes.
Right.
And realize that it's not just here for men. We're here for people, tourists, locals alike, to find just good food and good experiences, not just in South Florida, but all over the world.
Did you find that people at the time were looking for something like a guide almost? I know that we, you know, on print, we would have food guides, and a lot of it was mostly advertising. So it was really tough to find what was authentic.
I think at that time, like I wasn't even thinking that deep into it.
Yep.
Like this wasn't going to be my full-time thing. I was just sharing my adventures. And I think people were looking more for an aesthetic and like that food porn type of style of, think of Miss Cheesiest, that's like early 2017, the cheese pools of the grilled cheese. I think people just enjoyed watching it as entertainment rather than value of, I'm going to go there because I saw a random post about it. It wasn't really until 2018 that I started seeing impact and people really relying on Instagram as like a way to find good food or good places or good experiences.
Right. And then which direction? I know that 19 was a big boom for Miami. We had the Super Bowl. We just had all these random events that really started, you know, almost like an evolution of what we see today for Miami, with all the money that came in and all the new construction and all the new restaurants and all the new restaurants. You know, I remember once upon a time, like in probably the mid 2010s, we were always asking ourselves, like, why aren't there more restaurants from New York come down? Why don't we have like the big groups come down? Because, you know, we had the Prime 112s and we had great spaces, but it was only like almost a handful of them. And it, you know, there just wasn't enough. Like, did you get that, or was it more?
In 2015, 2016, I definitely felt that. But by then, I think the foundation was already set. The leases were already signed, that things were coming.
Right.
It wasn't like 2020 happened and all of a sudden we are now on the map. It's like, no, we've been working towards this thanks to the Mendines, thanks to the Schwartz, thanks to the Bernsteins, thanks to the people who set the foundation for Miami culinary scene.
All great. Zach, I mean,
exactly.
Brad Kilgore,
Zach,
I mean,
Neiman, and the people that stemmed from Norman and like all those other guys. So shout out to them for kind of laying the foundation to then it trickle and spread out, not just from Miami Beach or Wynwood or Design District, but be able to tap into Neiman opening up in Kendall and Beltron opening up in the Grove and like really setting themselves a spread out like footprint for Miami's food space. So it didn't happen overnight as some people think it did because of COVID.
Yep.
It was because of the hard work that everyone kind of laid down within that like 2012 to 2019.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Brad Kilgore opening Altar up in Wynwood when Wynwood really didn't have much. I think you just had
Q. I think
you had
Mike and
Q.
Raheem and
Yeah, it was Steve and Mike Lewis. You had, I think, Altar. You had Q, Panther Coffee, Joey's, and maybe like one or
Wood
two
Tavern
other
might have been
Wood
there
Tavern, right? And that was it. It was kind of a ghost town back then.
That was the beauty of it.
I mean, it was. Well, I think we're gonna get to that a little bit later. But okay, so you're in law school.
Yeah.
And you know, you have this passion for creating content. So where do you make that difficult choice, or where do you make the jump or the plunge? Or
so it was half made for me and half my decision.
Right.
So if people are familiar with the bar exam, it's only offered twice a year, 2-day exam, 8 hours.
Not an easy test.
You have 30 plus different subjects of law you need to know, and you don't know which one. So I was sitting for the exam, mid-exam, I'm looking around the auditorium, and I'm seeing thousands of kids and people around me. I'm like, 50% of people here are going to be attorneys in the same area and practice similar types of law, and the value, and then in February, it's going to happen again, and in the next July. So I'm thinking every time more and more people pass, the value of my degree and what we're doing can lower because there's more saturation in the field.
Right.
I already was sitting on 75 to 80,000 followers, a very good reputation, a foundation, and a genuine passion and love for Mr. Eats and this market that was kind of like booming.
Right.
So mid-exam, I'm like taking it, and I was like, that's kind of like what's going on in the back of my head, and you don't find your results out till 3 months after. So I told myself the second I walked out, I go, in these next 3 months, if I hit certain benchmarks that I sat down and created, financially, desire to work, if I found value in posts, I found kind of like a template that worked for me, I would consider going full-time Mr. Eats, regardless of what the results are, pass or fail. And I got the results back and I missed it by 1 point, which sounds devastating. And at that time, it is. Imagine to my parents, to the money, to the hard work that you spent, and I felt good about the exam too. But it's a bell curve. So it's weighed on depending on how other people do as well. But that was the biggest blessing. Now looking back on it, 5 years after, that
so this was
2021,
right.
So 4 years after,
right.
So, because if I know I would have passed, I would have tried.
Right.
Legal, and once you get in, you kind of probably are stuck. And I didn't know the future of taking that risk of starting your own business and what can I make out of this and how can I monetize? Because that's what a lot of people run into when they're creators or influencers or want to talk about a certain thing that they're passionate about. How can I become this creator to monetize and become a full-time
business? So that is a whole subject. Now, a lot of the times, And this is one of the main reasons I wanted to get you on, because I understand everything that goes into your business. And a lot of people really just don't get it. A lot of people always ask me questions about content creators and influencers and what's real and what's not, and who gets paid and who doesn't, and what's the deciding factor. You know, when you started this, how, like, at least in 21, when you were like, okay, this is what I'm going to do full-time, marketing company, and I'm going to be a content creator. How much competition was there back then? Was it just a lot of people doing it for the love of the food? And, you know, what did you decide to separate you from everybody else?
So it's kind of loaded because there's so much going on. Because like even right now, the market's still so young. So even people that are thinking about doing it, like you can still do it. It's not like it's oversaturated. It's not like there's still going to be people doing what we do or in whatever field they want to get into. There's going to be people doing it. But how do you separate yourself? And it was the consistency.
Right. Because, you know, because I've seen over the last 2-3 years, a lot of, you know, influencers and content creators for food, for the 305, a lot of their accounts deactivated. A lot of them stopped doing it as much as they used to. And, you know, I guess the algorithm reads that when you stop doing it, like they kind of fall off and now you're least interacted with, where there's some that you have to consistently stay at it, you know. So tell me about that a little bit.
It's more of when it's not your full-time job. I think Instagram notices that you're not putting it as frequent,
right?
And the algorithm is always, it's a beast within itself, man. Like you don't really know what to expect from the algorithm, and it's always changing. So your content should always be slightly changing. At its core, it's still your mission statement, you know, helping locals and people alike just kind of find these cool spots. So whether it's me walking into the kitchen with a chef and we're talking about things behind the scenes, back of house, or I just give the experience as a normal patron would. So in 2021, I was doing a lot of back of house things with chefs, and I was prepping things with them and understanding how things work on the back of house. But then I realized, like, no one in my community has this access to work with chefs and be back there. Right. Let me give them the true experience, how a normal patron would come in and experience this. So it's staying consistent by posting frequently, but also by the quality of content that you're posting. And that says the same for Homegrown Media, the media company that we started about a year ago almost. And we realized that restaurants were posting just to post, to stay frequent.
Yep.
But that's not the frequency that Instagram algorithm is looking for. They want you to stay consistent with the value you also bring to the table. So make sure you're not only just posting frequently, but with value, and stay consistent in that type of way.
But how do you stop, for example, you know, we had the big TikTok scare of, you know, everybody threatening TikTok to go away. How do you stay like one step ahead just in case something like that did happen, like other platforms? And
I mean, I just love sharing the story. So anytime I can put something out there for the people to see, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, Twitter, Threads, whatever the platform will be,
yep.
It's just the vessel to get that story across, no matter how we are making it. The story is going to be shared, whether it's on print, digital, TV, radio. It's just the vessel that we're going to be using. So I love having active, good, strong social media platforms that people can go and have access to these stories.
Yep.
That's always going to be a benefit, but I'm never like petrified of one shutting down, because I know that there's a space always that people are looking to find this entertainment moving forward after COVID. Like that's kind of what started that strength of social media.
Now, for the people that don't really understand the business, explain to me.
No one really understands. I
don't think any of us will really understand.
My parents are not going to understand. Like it's an interchanging, always changing industry.
So let me tell you guys something I see all the time. You take over a second-gen space, you think it's turnkey, but the second you walk in, it's not exactly what you need. Maybe the bar layout doesn't flow, maybe the kitchen's a little outdated, or the bathrooms look like they haven't been touched since the 90s. That's why I tell all my clients, you need to call Brodson Construction. Whether you're building from the ground up or not, you still need the finishing touches done right. Brodson's been local and family-run since 1989. They're the top 1% in Florida, and they've handled everything from luxury homes on Star Island to some of Miami's best retail and restaurant spaces like LPM, Amsterdam, Cipriani, Hillstone, Bell Harbor, just to name a few. Bottom line, don't settle for nickel and dime contractors who might underbid the work to win the job up front and screw you over in the end. Brodson maintains integrity every step of the process to build enduring relationships and never exploit clients. So remember, if you're going to build, call Brodson Construction. Look, as a business owner, I'll be real with you. Running my brokerage takes up all my time. And in Miami, if you're not showing up online or on social media, you just don't exist. That's why I've worked with Sage Marketing Studios from the very beginning. Website, social, even this podcast. They're the ones behind the camera, building strategy, keeping it consistent, and making sure my brand looks like it actually belongs in the city. So just a tip, stop having your cousin post blurry iPhone pics once every 3 months. Hit up Sage Marketing Studios. You can find them on Instagram at socialmedia.sage and tell them Felix sent you. But, you know, like, I remember the time where I posted, like, that you changed business overnight. There was some negative comments of, like, oh, well, he charges for it. And, you know, my response was, well, yeah, I mean, everybody's got to live. And as much as we love to do things, you know, for mom and pops, like, you know, I'll do a couple small deals just to do them, you know, one independent movie for the, you know, for the film studio, and then one large one to, like, take home and get paid. I mean, how does your business work when it comes to that?
There's no like perfect answer or question. Yes, I get paid, but that's not all we do. And it's not all through mom and pops. Like most, I'd say 75% of the income is through brand deals that align with our brand. So DoorDash, Resy, American Express, McDonald's, these are all former and current brands that we negotiate with and align with our production for them. So the deliverables, scope of works. It's at the end of the day, if you take a step back and don't look at me as a public figure or creator and look at it as more of a photographer or a videographer, obviously, if you're a restaurant or if you're a company, you're going to pay the talent for their work that they're producing. And what we do as a team now is not only are we doing the diligence of finding if this place is even worth our time visiting, but now we're producing a video, directing even before we get into the spot, what type of video we're making, filming the video. You're the talent in the video. You then go and edit the video. You then go and do all the things that go into making a video, which you know with all your videos, and then publishing it on a platform that that has meaning as to why you're publishing it, that you put a stamp of approval on top of that. So there's multiple layers that go into it. It's not just like showing up to a restaurant and like expecting certain thing and just like leaving. That's not how it goes. And we can keep going into it.
I mean, like, how do you choose what restaurants you do a video in?
So a lot of them do invite us in, but I'd say I say no to about 70 or 80% of them.
Wow. That's a big number.
It's ones that they don't look like they're trying.
Right.
And you can kind of feel it.
Right. Is it more like mom and pop, or you just don't like corporate restaurants?
It's both. I mean, the corporate ones, like if it's one, like if it's chain restaurant X that I rarely visit or didn't even visit growing up, I'm not going to even waste our time kind of having that conversation.
Right.
Unless you're pitching me something that really fits me and you want to give back to the community, and like X chain restaurant wants to donate 100 meals to the whatever foundation. Now I'm interested. So it's all about the pitch.
Now you guys know what you got to do to get Mr. Eats 305 in your door.
There you go. So there are certain things that if they just kind of say one sentence, no subject line, and they're like, I'd love for you to come to my restaurant, period, thank you. What restaurant? What's your name? Like, I'm not responding to that. Why am I gonna? You didn't waste your time. You didn't put in the effort. You didn't work on your presentation, and now I'm supposed to go all on out and spend 5-6 hours working on this video for someone who doesn't really try.
Right.
So there's little things that I'm thinking about even before going to this restaurant.
What advice do you give for somebody that is actually starting out? Let's say, you know, they love food, they love the areas, they love mom and pops, they love supporting. You know, what advice do you give them if they actually want to break into the market?
If they're passionate about loving the food and the story and the mom and pops and the storytelling, and they're doing it for that reason, then they should be fine, because if they stay authentic and stay consistent. If they're doing it because they hear influencers or creators get free meals, or they can be a full-time job at this because that's what people are trying and doing. That's like back in the day when we gave out like mixtapes and wanted to be rappers or athletes or, you know, DJs. You know, and it's just the hustle.
Right.
And I get the hustle, but the hustle needs to be there for the right reasons and the right purpose, because people can sniff out fake and ingenuineness and lack of authenticness.
Right.
So if you're authentic and you're very passionate about it,
Yep.
I don't care how you do it. If you're sharing a story that I'm a fan of, I'd support that creator. And I think that creator has to know that and stay consistent with it.
What do you think keeps you authentic? Now, like, I look at you and I say, you know what, this is one of the most authentic guys in the game and in the biz, but you really have broken out into your own where, I'm not just talking about followers, I'm just talking about you get it. Like what, like, I'm not gonna ask you for all the secret sauce, but at what level and at what turning point did you actually feel like, you know what, this is it, like, this is what I wanna do, and how comfortable did you get just, you know, owning it?
It's still, I'm more comfortable now, obviously, but it's
Right.
never, you're never the most comfortable putting yourself out there.
Right.
But I saw the impact that the page was having on businesses, and I saw the value that it was bringing. And then I realized that, like, we have something here. We could be consistent with this. And I started really diving into, how can I make this better? How can I be more authentic? Because a lot of people think that, like, because I don't talk bad, that I'm not authentic.
Right. Yeah. So that was, I guess, one of my questions for you is, you know, if my mom always taught me, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything. But how does that work in your industry?
And being in the industry for so long, and I consider myself part of the industry now because I've been in it for 10 years and in the kitchen with these chefs and in the marketing scene, understanding the qualms, the pains, the highs, the lows, becoming friends with everyone in the community. And I understand how much work it takes, whether you're a good restaurant, a bad restaurant, any type of restaurant. I understand what it takes, especially during COVID when I decided that, like, I didn't want to talk bad about restaurants.
Right.
I wanted to share my criticisms directly with the chef or with the owner, whoever invited me, whoever I have there in front of me, face to face, man to man, whoever it may be. This is why I don't like this.
Right.
And it helped me also be a better food reviewer, creator, whatever you want to call it, because not only do I have to tell you I don't like it, but why?
Right.
Oh, this should be timed out this way. It's really the intricacies and the details of, oh, you were off on this, or now I'm not only looking at how the chef can be better, but also how front and back and cohesively as a hospitality unit,
Right.
how can we improve from a consumer perspective to B2B, B2C.
Right.
So all those factors are going through my head. And I don't even like going to restaurants sometimes when I don't know the chef and the owners in the first quarter of them opening, because I understand how you need to find your rhythm and find your feel and find the groove.
Yep.
So if I go in and I post a video, and thankfully because of my audience, it does well and people go and support me and the restaurant, then if the restaurant's not ready for that influx of people, it's
Right.
not only going to make them look bad, but me look bad. So all those things are taken into consideration. And that's why I don't really care about being the first one to do the drop of the breaking news. I rather have the focus be shifted on what the patron is going to experience and what the restaurant will be ready for.
I mean, speaking about that, like, you know, I've watched over the last, you know, and again, I think we all love a little controversy, you know, like, for example, Infatuation, you know, started really ripping, and again, I'm a fan of the Infatuation.
Me too.
But, you know, on one hand, I really respect how honest they were with certain restaurants. On another hand, I'm sure that they got a lot of shit of like, well, you're ruining their business and you're really hurting. What's your feeling on it? I guess it's just...
Listen, I can't speak for any other creator or business or industry and how they go about things. What I know is what I can be in control of, and my core and what I'm passionate about is in, like, elevating our community.
Right.
And focusing on the positive.
100%.
So if I'm out here talking bad or mentioning dishes that aren't as good, you know, or calling things out, that's just not for me.
Right.
I stick to I try to focus on, even on restaurants that I do post about, because, man, if they are bad, I'm not posting it.
Right. You just won't post it.
Won't post it.
Period.
I'll just tell the owner I didn't like it, why, and that's it.
Right.
When they're good and the restaurants are good, I'm trying more dishes than what the video shows. I'm posting my top 4 or 5. If they don't miss, then I'll put them all.
Right.
But I'm having those conversations face to face, and that's like the benefit of having that, my face out there. Where Infatuation, even though we know the people behind it, they're faceless as a group. They don't
Right.
know, like, who's out there and when they're dining, who they're dining. They go on their own. It's that benefit of being able to have conversations like these with the owners and sit down and be like, listen, I want to help you, but you're not helping yourself. Here's how we can get better.
How have you seen, since you started, since you really started doing this full time, how have you seen the restaurant industry in Miami change?
I'm excited for it, man. I know you're doom and gloom, but like,
no, I mean, listen, a year and a half ago, I saw this coming.
Yeah.
We get numbers from a lot of restaurants. We get numbers from hotels. We get numbers from different businesses that work, suppliers, and it was just the perfect storm was coming. Unfortunately, I had the unfortunate job to report, like, just say it.
You're reporting.
Honestly,
You're not like predicting.
It's not even reporting. Based on what I saw in my mind, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna have the worst fucking year. I'm just gonna be very honest and public about it and let everybody know what I see is coming. Again, just my opinion. The shit that hit the fan after we did that video was, it was every landlord, every developer, people that also knew, they're like, but why are you putting it out in public? It's
because how I see both sides of it, because I understand your side, and then as someone who, let's say I'm a mom and pop who follows the industry, but I'm not really in the industry yet, but I want to start my own business.
Right.
Now, am I not going to take the risk because I saw F+B's post and like, no, you know what, I'm out. It's just going to be big commercial people that have the money and can take the risk.
Right.
And now is it slowing down the mom and pops from opening because you're putting the risks out there?
So, it's funny. There was a landlord developer that went on another podcast the other day and said that I have a used car salesman pitch. And, I thought it was funny. I was like, they're like, well, he says that all these places are going out of business, but at the same time, he's like, well, you should get a place and you should. And listen, you know what? I do believe that, the demand still outweighs the inventory.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said I'm excited.
That everybody still wants to be Miami. My whole point was like, listen, there's a lot of issues that Miami is not New York, it's not Paris, it's not LA. Shit here runs different. Yeah. And if they don't know how to navigate, there's a good chance that they're going to be closed before they even open.
Just because it works somewhere else doesn't mean it's going to work in Miami.
How many people have you met? You've never tried my pizza. You've never tried my pasta. Grease Trap, in New York, I have this place open in 3 months.
Which is true. It's different.
It is.
Opening a place in outside of Miami. And that's something that I think a lot of the bigger issues for the F&B space isn't between any of us or chefs. It's with the permits, the codes, how long it takes to get up, how much money you have to put into it, even before open. Sometimes, look at, I don't even want to name names, but there's places that like said,
let's have some fun, man. Let's have some fun.
I want to give a shout out to like Ted, who's run into a bunch of issues.
Yeah.
And like, he should have been open.
We did that deal.
We should have been open, what, in 2020, 2021? No, sorry, 2022, he should have been open.
I think we did the deal.
Probably in 21, no?
22?
Yeah.
Maybe 23. No, 23. We did the deal in 23. But yeah, and that deal to get across the finish line. I mean, I know when he opens, he is gonna.
Oh, it's gonna crush.
And that was a second gen. That was like a place that was operating that month. You know.
Yeah. So it's like those like tricky situations that happen, and then like trying to find only second gens because new builds are so expensive.
Right.
And that's an issue where you're not seeing a lot of newer places opening up in Kendall because the mom and pops that have been there for 30, 40 years that might not be as strong or passionate as someone who were to open up now.
Right.
Don't want to let go of their restaurant because it pays the bills, it's fine. And so you're not seeing all these restaurants open up in Kendall because they don't want to have to deal with a whole brand new build out.
Right. I think dealing with Miami, the permitting in Durham has obviously been a huge pain in the ass last couple of years. But again, I always try to warn, it's not that I say don't open. That's my business. Me saying don't open is...
You're just giving them the fair warning of the risks they're going to be taking.
All that shines is not gold.
Yeah.
That you're taking a risk. Listen, we all know that the restaurant industry itself, there's a good shot you're going to be out of business in the first 5 years. Like any stat.
If it lasts more than 5, it's incredible.
It's already a win.
Yeah.
But when you have the city of Miami and the permitting and all these new factors that we never considered hitting tariffs and cost of goods and labor going up, you know, it's really hard to own a restaurant. So listen, I'm sorry, like I was raised to be a good person. And for me, you know what? I love money, but I also love my community, and you can't take all of it with you. You know what I mean? I think that like it's better to like get real content. And that's why, listen, I advise mom and pops, you know, because I am like you, I'm a fan of theirs. You know, a lot of like we have a lot of the same restaurant friends. And the last thing I want to do is see someone fail when they didn't really have all the facts, or, you know, one broker or landlord might have pitched them to spend over $120 a foot. They don't run the math, and it's a wrap. And it's really fucked up and sad to see. You know what I mean?
No, we'd hate for them not. You don't want to go into them. You don't want them to go into it blind.
Right. What have you seen? Like, how have you seen the scene change over the last few years?
I feel like it's even within the years they kind of like mold, and it's like still this renaissance that's kind of always changing.
Right.
I think right now what we're seeing from, because of social media and because of how hot Miami is, people want to also show that they're going to the newest restaurant.
Right.
So we're seeing 3 restaurants open one weekend, and then the next weekend another restaurant and another restaurant, and then that same one consumer that we had planned for that lived in the area has now traveled and gone to 5 different restaurants and hasn't gone back to that first one that opened, even if they loved it. It's that they want to continue to keep going to the new, flashy, cool thing,
Right.
rather than supporting their like local one spot that business was relying on the people in the surrounding area to keep continuing and going to that spot.
Right. And what they don't realize is unless you visit that place a couple times a month, it's gonna be tough.
People are consuming differently.
Right.
Entertainment, literal consumption, and they're planning their weekends differently now. It's not let's go to this restaurant then let's go out.
Right.
It's we're going out to this restaurant and that's the end of the day.
We're making a night out of it.
We're making a night out of the restaurant.
Right.
Or we're making a night out of said bar or whatever it may be. So we're only seeing one stop, and we're not going to go back to the same spot because we loved it, because another spot just opened that's very similar. Let's compare and contrast, and maybe if I post something, I can go viral too. Because now I have this like TikTok page where I can post a carousel of 5 different things that I ate this weekend that I really loved, and starts a new conversation, and people try to be, you know, the next content creator or influencer.
Do you feel that that's kind of what really hurt nightlife in Miami?
There's so many factors with nightlife. I don't know if it was the COVID that people kind of was a different type of group that they were scared of going out or socializing, or I don't know what it was. I think
because you look at 11 and 11 is still
it's
fucking
still doing
pumping,
it,
right?
But I don't know if it's because it's cool.
Right.
The second it's not, like, are people then stopping and going? So the clubs that were going that lost its hype, they're not cool anymore. So
you know what's interesting? I had Chris Pacello and Ingrid Casares from Liquid.
Legend, yeah.
You know what? And it was our first episode, and they fucking blew my mind. Ingrid said that one of the biggest changes in the whole scene now is social media and the phones, because now the mystique of what's behind the velvet rope or what's in the VIP room is gone, because now everybody's just like this. So people can see that and they're like, oh, okay, we're good, you know? It's almost like a...
Yeah, but you could also play the other side of things, where I want to show now that I can afford the VIP, or can't afford it, but act like I can afford the VIP to show people that I'm in that behind the velvet rope.
That they're not going because they love the music and the vibe.
But they're going to show off that
just take some pictures and...
whatever maybe, but they're still going to... It should still benefit the nightclub or the bar or the restaurant, whatever it may be.
I mean, we both love nightlife. You know, we always have this debate of the direction that nightlife is going to go to. Is it going to be the Lives? Is it going to be the Kikis? Like, is it going to be like a Roman Jones supper club? You know, like, we're all big fans of the supper club. You get the entertainment, you get a good dinner, you get the drinks, you get the bottles. You know, like, I don't mind being bougie once in a while. Once in a while. I'm not going to do it every day. But, you know, at the same time, I do love going to places like Gramps and, you know, keeping the locals happy, you know, community, and like listening to some good punk rock. And, you know, I'm super happy about Churchill's coming back.
Las Rosas coming back.
Dude,
Zay
everybody.
kicking ass.
Zay
too,
is
so,
killing it. I mean, that's what I love about Miami. So many different nightlife scenes and something for everybody. But at the end of the day, is it going to be enough for everybody? Like, what direction is it going to be? The mega clubs? Is it going to be the lounges? Is it going to be both? Like, what direction do you feel we're going into right now?
I feel like we're gonna build more just options for people, whether
Right.
they survive because people want to gravitate towards one thing because it's cooler than the other. We'll see. But that's the beauty of Miami, is that no matter, every pocket of Miami has something to offer depending on what you're looking for.
Right.
You want to raise a family and go to private school and be a soccer mom, like Pinecrest, Grove, Gables. You want to have your own farm and ranch and go to the Redlands, go to horse country. You can go to Southwest Ranches. Like, there's so many. It's not just what people see on Instagram, that it's like OnlyFans models and like
Right.
the nightclubs and the Brickles and the Miami Beach. Like, that's also there with the finance bros, that you can do that too. But the beauty of it is at places where we can all gather and have that one weekend together and listen to a certain genre or go see a certain artist perform or do anything. So I think it's the fact that we have dive bars like Max or,
Right.
you know, Seven Seas and over there, or Duffy's still kind of rocking and doing their thing. It's that we can have not only the lowest of lows, but the highest of highs, and we're dynamic. We have range in Miami.
What are some of the bars you like? That way, you know, you could be, you don't have to be politically correct because,
bars, I mean, I like having the range too, you know,
Right.
going and having, you know, a casual beer in the midday at Deuce is always fun. And then you
Deuce's
walk out and
legacy. If anything happens to that place, I will fucking lose my shit. Seriously, man.
Yeah.
The Gramps news really killed me, man.
it's a shame. It removes Wynwood from that old Wynwood feeling.
Right.
Even though it's only one institution, I don't know why it just felt so much heavier.
Because I think it was the last institution left from the old guard to like the one, no judgment, just go have a beer outdoors, live music, whatever you're into. It was just so. The pizza was. Do you remember Pizza Tropical?
Of course.
One of the before all these other pizza places
Yeah.
came, that was like my go-to
One year
pizza.
we had it in the top 5. Yeah, top 5
Yeah.
New York style pizzas in Miami.
Hands down, absolutely deserves it. But now it's like, with that being gone, what do we do? At least for Wynwood, where they're charging. The
Wynwood
rent's
is
not
going
cheap.
through its like third renaissance.
Right.
Like, it's like becoming something else, and it's gonna be bleak, I think, currently, until it's done with its construction and finds who it is
Right.
as a community.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be what we want it to be. We have to let go. It's not that anymore.
Right.
We can't be, you know, harping on, I'm not going to Wynwood anymore because like it's not the same. It's like,
Right.
okay, we don't have to go right now, but understand that Wynwood is now this. So if you are a fan of this, you can go back, but don't think of this Wynwood as the Wynwood of yesteryear.
Where you had the wood
Where
tavern.
we had the wood
right.
and we can walk everywhere and recognize everything, like that it's all local. Don't expect that anymore. There's still very good restaurants
Right.
in Wynwood, but how I see it now, it's destination.
But I mean,
I'm
listen,
going into Shiso, I'm
right.
going into Q, I'm
Right.
going into these places, having my meal,
Right.
listening, maybe having one more drink there, which is another thing that also has changed. The cocktail programs at restaurants
Yeah.
have improved.
Right.
So now I could go there early, have a drink,
Absolutely.
have my dinner, stay for a nightcap, and then go back home
Right.
instead of hopping around from bar to bar.
A lot of you know me from my F+B Miami page, but what you might not know is that I also run Florida's largest restaurant real estate brokerage called F+B Hospitality. Every week I meet somebody that thought that they could just wing it on a restaurant lease. And every week on F+B Miami, you guys see how that turns out. And that is exactly why I started F+B Hospitality Brokerage. We treat our clients' money like it's our money. We don't say things just to say it or paint pretty little pictures. We go based on facts and numbers. If we don't like a deal, location, or permit status, we are absolutely not afraid to tell you. It's about setting you up to last, so you could focus on food and foodies while we negotiate the build out and the terms. Do you find that like it's getting more segregated neighborhood wise? So like Wynwood, for example, like me, you know, 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to Wynwood, I'm going to like the west side of Northwest Second, because you have Q, you have Uchi, you have Joe's Pizza, Zach the Baker, Pasties, taco stand, Hayden. I mean, just like Walter Grace for coffee. There's just so many places door to door to door that makes it feel more of like a community, as opposed to the other side that once upon a time when we had, El Patio and
Butcher shop,
walk over to 1-800-LUCKY, which again, I still love 1-800-LUCKY. And again, I'm not singling out the whole side because, listen, I still love Guy, I still love Doma.
Sable just opened up recently there.
Yeah,
and it's
it's definitely great, but I think that
it's like every place. It's hit or miss. I don't know if it's like purposefully segregated like that. I think it just happens to be that more places are doing better on that side. I don't know if it's because of the art or because it's become institutions like Taco Stand being there and Hedon being in behind it, and just like they've established their brand on that side of town.
Right.
But if you go into the other side of Wynwood where Beaker and Gray used to be, and you have like Sweet Habana, you have Fireman Derrick's, you have like that crew, it's like it's continuing to grow different pockets.
Cafe de Villa is definitely one of my favorite go-tos. But I also feel that a lot more corporate places have gone in. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited with the Nomad going up, and we got Casa Tua coming in.
Yeah.
Super excited about
that. It's most of those new builds. And I'm curious to see where those new builds on like 27th to 29th, what to expect from them. And then also on the other side of Northwest 2nd, where it's continuing new builds, and that's where like Maman went up and all that, where before you didn't even want to walk through those streets.
Not a fan of those streets. I think that side of Wynwood, I'm definitely not. It's a ghost town.
I think until they wanted it to be more residential than it currently is.
Yep.
And until those buildings, if those buildings get filled, I don't see it.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Pierogi
one.
I think Pierogi. I think it was.
We might be talking about different places.
It was on that side of Wynwood. No, but again, beautiful restaurant. I went for the first week that they opened. I was super impressed. I'm like, okay, they really got it figured out. Didn't make it a year. Bottled Blonde. They do 17. They did. I don't know how they do now. 17 million. I got a number that they did in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they didn't even make it a year.
They had an established brand over there, and they were in a more college-y area and a college town, where Miami is a town that feels like a college town, but it's not a college town.
Right.
And Flanagan's is here.
I mean, that
has established a brand. It's been there since what, 59?
Right. Every time I mention a restaurant closing, everybody on Instagram, turn into Flanagan's. But that says a lot that, the community really does appreciate something with a low cost, something where they feel welcome, something that, I think they just figured out a formula.
I think it's consistency.
Right.
It's nostalgia. It's branding. It's everything that goes into it, because like it's fantastic, but is it the best sports food ever?
Right.
Cool, good. I love the ribs. I love the things, but it's not like I'm mind blown by the food every time. I'm just like, it's exactly how I tasted it growing up.
Right.
So I still love it. And the fact that I can leave with a cup, which I felt like I was stealing a cup when I was a kid. I'm like, this is great. And now my entire pantry is only green cups.
If you don't have a Flanagan's cup, you're not from Miami.
It's more that it's becoming a brand of the community. And every time I go, I feel like I'm supporting the community, and I am like loving that.
But then what do you say about the big restaurants that come in? They don't just come in, they like bulldoze in, like Sexy Fish, and more of like the bigger brands of, again, no disrespect, but it doesn't resonate with me.
It doesn't resonate with us, but I understand who the market's for. I don't think the market's dense enough for them to survive.
Right.
Because a lot of people in Miami, especially on the other side of like the Palmetto or I-95, like us, want to focus and feel like it's more about Miami.
Right.
Where people who might be new to Miami, they don't have any allegiances to certain brands, and they want to be there to show, because of social media, that they're at the hottest, newest spot that has the vibe and the aesthetic and the ambiance and decent food and all the things that go into it.
Right. But my take is a lot of those restaurants, obviously Gordon Ramsay's restaurants just closed, and probably not the last. But, a lot of those restaurants, I don't need to eat in Miami. If I'm in Vegas, I could go Vegas. If I'm in New York, I could eat it in New York,
I think just people don't understand the perception or like the true theme that Miami has in the food and beverage space. Before we had to, like if that restaurant opened up 10 years ago, I think it would have done well.
100%. When we had nothing. Right. When we were all begging for those brands to come in.
We had to travel to go and get good food.
Right.
Now, you want barbecue? We have very good barbecue. You want pizza? We have very good pizza. Different types of cuisines and genres and vibes and low end, high end, small luxuries, big luxuries. Like we have range.
Right.
And I think we don't need to leave anywhere
No,
to
I mean,
enjoy that.
look, you just nailed barbecue. I mean, I remember, perfect example of, you know, hometown barbecue came in, huge fan. It was like, that was it, you know. Obviously, Raheem and Drinking Pig, and, you know.
Which I'm excited for.
I'm so excited, dude. I'm so pumped. Dude, he's one of the nicest guys.
He's kicking ass in Shiso. Shiso was incredible.
I mean, and, you know, a lot of people don't know. He was a lot of the force behind Q. You know, he was the guy. But, you know, now you also have Apocalypse for barbecue, and, you know, you have all these different guys. Do you feel that maybe that authenticity is going to weigh out some of the bigger transplants that came here?
If the transplants stay in areas that they feel will do well for their brand, I don't mind, because I'm here for competition. I'm here
100%.
for elevating. I'm here for innovative new ways to grow and expand certain cuisines.
Right.
And I think every neighborhood in Miami should have their go-to spot. I think people in Kendall should have their Apocalypse, and they don't need to go all the way to hometown, even though they both can be interchangeable to some people. I like that my neighborhood has their go-to spot.
Right.
And that's how places are going to survive, when the community is backing up their neighborhood spot.
Right. I think a lot of people, for example, now in Coconut Grove, there's so much there now. They don't need to come to Miami. They don't need to go to Brickell. You want Carbone? They got Carbone there. You want pizza? I heard a very prominent pizza place is taking the Old Harry space. But, you know, you have Green Street Cafe for brunch. You have La Cabrera. You have, you know, El Bagel. You have all those guys. Right. In terms of neighborhoods, like, what neighborhoods do you like right now?
So I live in the Westchester neighborhood, which is historic, classic. You know, I can throw a rock to Arbetters and Frankie's Pizza and Flanagan's. So I Tropical Chinese, Conchow, like, I'm in a good spot.
You're in a very good spot.
Very central.
Right.
So my bias leans to home.
Right.
But on the weekends, where you'll find, like, my wife and I going out and hanging out, is the Grove, because of its walkability. Even in this heat, it's like I can go to multiple spots, and that's fun for us, that there's range, and I can have a coffee, I can have a breakfast item, I can go into a spot, go into a gallery, go into whatever, drink a beer, Barracudas, and, like, buy some glasses, or go to Buck Mason or something. So like, it's having that range. Grove is a great spot. Do you think
Grove's getting priced out though now?
I think the Grove is not perfect.
Right.
There's definitely room to grow. But I'm excited to see what Beltram's going to do with Chuggies. I'm excited to see with the pizza. I'm excited to do with the barbecue.
Right.
Once we have that, and I feel like its final phases here, then we can have that discussion again, because I feel like Coco Walk still needs work.
Right.
I think there should be more retail in Coco Walk, of local spots. So if rent's too high, maybe they have, like, a locals discount with a lot of things. And the same can be said about, like, certain areas like Lincoln Road or Ocean Drive, or one of these places that, like, are very attractive aesthetically. Why doesn't the city or landlords kind of have, like, this discount or lottery or whatever it may be for spots that would bring people into those spots?
I think they got very fat over the last 20 years and very comfortable, because one schmuck is selling a building more than the last schmuck, and then, you know, now you need to pay $300 a foot, because if not, then your math doesn't work. So what do? You either there's going to have to be a big correction, or you have to go elsewhere. At the time, we didn't have Wynwood, we didn't have Brickell, we didn't have Midtown, we didn't have Little River, we didn't have the Grove you had, but you didn't have a lot of those other neighborhoods that now, you know, you have options.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is the biggest problem with Lincoln Road, you know, and I know that they're really doing their best to revitalize it, but unless the price goes down on rent, it's going to be very hard, you know, because it's also not the same density anymore, as much as everybody wants it to be, you know.
Even if there is a good amount of density, which there isn't, but even if they can fantasize that there's so many more options.
Yep.
Like we said.
Right.
That on the weekends, I am going to go to Little River to go eat at Barbuche or Sonny's. I saw you outside of Barbuche.
That's right.
You know, I've been there 5 times, and I live in Westchester.
I love Mike.
You know,
I love those guys, and I love what's happening in Little River. I think they have a lot of great. I mean, you have Rodney Scott coming in. You know, you got Fuchs coming in. There's just so many great concepts. But that's what I love about Miami. It's like you could do cool little neighborhoods, and you could do cool little, you know, restaurants and different concepts. I think that's what really makes Miami great. you know, what other neighborhoods do you like? If I'm a restaurateur and I said, Mr. Eats 305, where should I open a restaurant?
I'd say Kendall, if you can find a second gen for a
Right.
build out, it might be even worth it because there's nothing around that area. I think Chef Eileen Andrade, she has dominated
Finca,
with
right.
Finca Amelia's and La Canaria with her parents.
She's so talented.
So talented, so great. But my parents live out right by there, and now that Vice City is open, you have more options.
Right.
But before that, I'd had a birthday at Finca. I'd have celebrate 3 or 4 different birthdays at Finca because that's where people would go in that area.
And she loves that area. She stays in that area.
It's fantastic, but why can't there be another one on Miller and 137th? It's just all, and it's dense. It is heavy with schools and people, and they're looking for places to go, and they're traveling outside of there, which I'm sure they wished they had something that's in their corner and their Cheers bar, their Cheers restaurant.
Right. But I think the problem is, and you know, I was just at like the real estate convention, and somebody in Orlando, a restaurant will be like, listen, why don't you send them, you know, why can't we go to Orlando with Tampa? I'm like, yes, absolutely. I love Tampa. I love Orlando. I love those markets, and it's cheaper and it's easier to get into. The problem is that you will not hit the same numbers as you will in Miami.
And also in Kendall, you can talk about the Kendall numbers and suburbs.
Right.
It's going to be lower profits, but it will be a lower cost.
Right.
So your margins might be the same.
Right. But do you think people from Miami, like,
I mean,
Miami Beach will
look at Casa Bake.
Yes.
Casa Bake's in a tiny warehouse right behind Tropical Park, off the Palm. It helps that they're off the Palmetto, but if your product is, look at Apocalypse, next to a movie theater in a random diner that didn't survive before that for years.
Right.
If you have a good product and if you build it, they will come.
You nailed it. You nailed it. You know what? And it's funny because Casa Bake is one of the places that I saw, like, you literally changed their business overnight.
They have a great product.
They do.
A great product. I'm glad that one caught the algorithm because they're not only great people, but the product is so great that that's why I post about it. That's why I love doing it but it's all out of my control.
Right.
And I'm just glad that the algorithm was able to help them out.
So now tell me about that. You know, obviously we know that you get a lot of views, but like, does every video get the same amount of views? Is it, you know, for people that just don't know, how does it work?
Most of the time I'm going out on my own,
right,
and trying places like Casa Bake. Casa Bake, I saw that it was open near me because it's right by Westchester, and I was like, oh, new spot, new bakery. I'm like, I'll try it out. I got there, they had a small display, nothing crazy, picked up 2 croissants, and they didn't have iced coffee. I don't even know if they had hot coffee at that time. No, right? No coffee. And I'm like, if I like it, I posted it. I was in a tank top straight from the gym.
Right.
Turned my camera on and posted it. And I was like, man, I hope this does well.
But, so for people that think you have a whole makeup team and you'll have a whole...
we do now. No, I'm kidding. No. But no, literally just like went, paid for it, tried it out, really liked it. So I posted it.
Right.
And that's how we do 80% of our organic restaurant, local mom and pop stuff that aren't brands. The other 20% are the people who are inviting us to come in and work together to make a video for them. But that goes back to, if I don't like it, I don't post it.
Right.
I've left hundreds and thousands of dollars on the table because it just didn't align with me and not worthy to share with my audience.
Not with your brand.
So when people say that, like, oh, he gets paid to post, I'm like, do you get paid to work?
Right.
If you were to hire a videographer or a photographer or anyone to post to make something for you, would you not pay that person? So it's that time that we're putting in to create the video and costs that I have that I need to cover.
Right.
For me to be posting it is that extra stamp of approval that, like, it is worth me making the video and sharing my face and giving that extra validation.
Yep.
That is needed. But that cost is just to cover other costs,
right,
that we have, and for me to go to a place that maybe I wouldn't have known about its marketing unless you had invited me. So I'm giving them the chance, and if they are able to reach the caliber and level that we think is deemed necessary,
yep,
then we'll post about it. But at the end of the day, it's a marketing firm.
Do content, you know, let's say you shoot a video, do you see that maybe like content creators will piggyback off of that restaurant? Like, oh, he shot a video, I'm going to go in there now and try to get the same kind of like hyper reaction.
Yeah.
Come on, give it to me, man. Give it to me.
To each their own. Yeah,
Right.
I see it.
Right.
That's not why I do it.
Right.
I don't care. I'm kind of blinders. I stick to me. I'm not doing it for the views. I'm not doing it for the clicks. I'm doing it because like I found a spot and I'm passionate about like sharing this spot.
Right.
If other people who are trying and getting started and now seeing that I posted about this in anticipation of them having paid me, thinking they paid me, and so they as creators are now going to DM the restaurant saying like, hey, I can also make a video for you for $500. Like, give me a free meal. I'll be there tomorrow. I'm not like that. I've never DM'd a
Right.
restaurant once saying like, hey, this is what I do. I'd love to help.
Right.
Maybe I should, because I love these restaurants, but why can't I just go spend the money, make the video and
Help
post
the
it?
and help the community.
Help the community.
Right.
If that's at the core of what we're doing, like if I want to go to try a place, just go and try the place.
Right.
The places that I'm not doing that is because it's in North Miami and I live in Westchester and Kendall,
Right.
and like I wouldn't have known about that, and our community wouldn't have known about that unless you had invited me. So if it aligns with me and my brand, then I'm gonna make this video for you, share it together, and now the community knows. But again, it all has to align, it all has to make sense, and it's not for at all like the money that we can get from the bigger brands that I also align with, because I've also had big brands come to me that like
You wanted to take the money, but you want to take the money, but you can't.
It's a great thing,
Right.
this is crazy, but I've never eaten here in my life.
Right.
Why am I going to post about this?
Right. How is now in the content creator world? Is it competitive? Is everybody friends? Is everybody kind of like hating on each other? A little bit of both. Like, who are some of your favorite
I have
content
no problems
creators?
with everyone.
Right.
So it was funny because there was like a change because of COVID,
Right.
of content creation. Content creation has been a thing since social media started, and prior to that, it was just in a different form. But like when COVID hit, a lot of creators switched to recipes because a lot of people are home,
Right.
and they had larger reaches. So like friends of mine like Succulent Bite, Nico, and Sammy with Naughty Fork and Sweet Portfolio and Stick a Fork in Me. That was like
Rachel Sampson's my
great.
girl,
So,
bro.
like,
That's my girl.
all those were like tight groups that we were doing restaurant visits before COVID.
Right.
And COVID hit. I kind of stayed in my restaurant space because I was like, I'm never a chef. I don't want to like think that I'm a chef and do these recipes. And then this is not a shot at them. It was just more of like, I'm gonna stick to what my love is, and that's sharing these discoveries with my community of my adventures. And I stayed in that lane, and thankfully it kind of opened up some space for me to continue to grow and stay consistent and do my own thing.
Yep.
And now it introduced it, whether it was my doing or someone else's doing, to a whole new audience of like Evie the foodie, Treat Yourself Everywhere, Leslie, Ganchi, her boyfriend, and Max Eats Miami. So there's now a new wave of creators that are able to tell their story and be more creative in their space, whether it's my influence or not. Like if it is, I'm honored, but like I've always been to myself, and I have no bad blood with any one of them.
Right. Now I know you're very specific about your food.
Who said that?
I hear things. But like, is there a specific food that you like? Like, is there something? Listen, it's all love, bro. That's your love
That's
pouch,
stomach
bro.
right there, man. This doesn't happen overnight. This
Like,
is
like if you get a call from like, let's say a ceviche place, you're like, fuck, perfect. I love ceviche. Like, or like,
for me, I'm not picky about any cuisine, whether I'm like gravitating more towards. I love a sandwich.
Yep.
I love any handheld vessel to be able to get protein and sauce and everything like just to you. But I'm here more for the story. It's like I hear that it's someone who learned under a certain chef that I'm a fan of, and now he's taking the risk and opening up himself, or opening up in a certain neighborhood, or starting a different, traditional place. I think I lean more towards like authentic and traditional places more than fusion places, but fusion places are also exciting when done well.
right. Not everybody could pull it off.
Not everyone could pull it off, and like that phase is kind of over. That was big in like 2012 to 2015, 16.
I think the Changs were able to pull it off. I think Raheem was able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Like, who else do you think?
Mendine did it.
Jose,
Sushi.
definitely, 100%.
So, and there's still now here and there, like Raheem's still doing it at
Right.
Shiso, and Eileen with the Hispanic and a Korean influence. So when it's done right, it's great.
Right.
Man, I love pizza. I love burgers. I love coffee. I love croquetas.
Yep.
I love pastries. The list can go on, and that's why it makes my job easy. because we have everything to offer here in Miami. And that's why I created the map too, to make it easy for people to find good food on MrEats305.com,
Yep.
the food map, where it has everything broken down by cuisines plus neighborhoods and then like favorites, but also experiences. So like a date night or, you know, certain cuisine. I think that's been the best way to navigate and share my experiences with people, because I'm posting 4 videos a week on average.
Yep.
Things can get lost, and things of importance can get lost in my newsfeed.
Right.
So I think whenever someone asks me like, oh, what do you recommend? I'm like, I posted about Coat in 2023 and I love Coat, but if you're looking for a steakhouse, that's #1 option on the steakhouse tab.
Right.
But they probably had just followed me maybe 6 months ago and then never seen me post about Coat. It's like, no, believe me, I've gone more above 1,000 restaurants in Miami that we've tried. On that map, there's almost 700.
Right.
And we've tried them all. So that's the best resource and tool. And that's where you'll find like my favorite spots.
I think the map is actually super impressive, and I think that's great for the community. And, you know, for somebody like me who's a foodie who doesn't know what I want to eat, I think that's super helpful.
Yeah, and that way you can get it quickly. You don't have to like be scrolling endlessly on Instagram or TikTok or wherever.
Is there a lunch tab?
There is not a lunch tab, but I do love lunch.
Okay, so then you know what? If
There's
that
a
is the
sandwich
case,
tab.
okay,
There's a sandwich tab.
okay. But if that is the case, we always end the show off on a top 5. You know, every guest has to pick a top 5, but not a certain. We'll always make up, you know, what the top 5 will be. I think today with you, since you don't have a lunch tab and everybody wants to know what your top 5 lunch spots are, I think that's what we're going with today.
All right.
So Mr. Eats 305, what do we got for top 5 lunch?
I'm going to say these in no particular
specific order. We're not picking
And I'm
favorites.
for sure going to forget someone, so my apologies. Don't cut this part out. I'm going to forget someone
100%.
and go to the map.
100%.
But off the top of my head, Tinta y Café, probably have to start it off.
Great.
It's fantastic. The sandwiches, coffee, pastry, salads, specials, service, vibe. They just nail everything. And
Local
that's probably
feeling.
everything.
Local feeling.
And it's like Cuban, but with a modern approach where you feel like you're paying homage traditional, but not losing it, but not just stuck to rice and beans. We're going to put maduros in a sandwich and put great pork. It's just, I can go on and on. We can make just a Tinta y Café podcast. So if you're listening.
One day we will.
Next up, Babe's Meat Encounter. Palmetto
Solid.
Bay.
Solid.
Worth the drive. If you live nearby it, I'm jealous because they do everything right. They do everything basically from scratch. It's a butcher shop first. So
They have a great burger.
the burger's fantastic. They have like 4 and 2 of them might not even on the menu. The Wigui, the Big Mac type of like homage burger. They're expanding their seating area too. They bought the place next door.
Amazing.
So now you can not just have to eat in your car, take it back home.
Love it.
Or eat outside. You can go and sit down next door. Their Cuban sandwich is fantastic. Everything is great. Third, that's more level, like entry level. I think the next Shadow Wagyu. Shadow is expensive, but it's worth it. The burger's fantastic. The fries, the wings, they have the parm. That's like basically a breaded steak on top
Haven't
of
tried the
rigatoni.
parm there yet. Legit. Like, it's worth the drive. Right?
Fantastic.
Nice.
It's fantastic. It's right down from Tinta, so you can eat something small at Tinta and then go to Shadow.
Nice.
For, I'd say Caracas Bakery gets me excited. The one in Mimo where they have the full kitchen. So their bread is unreal.
Fantastic.
Their pastries are fantastic. Solid coffee and matcha. The branding, the vibe, the lighting of that place. Good parking.
He's also a solid
relatively-
dude. I'm really happy
Jesus
for
the
him. Jesus is the man,
like,
bro. I'm
the parents
happy.
are there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a family industry. It's like great spot.
Let's make it a little harder for you. Let's go with North Bay Village.
North Bay Village, a lot of dinner spots there.
A lot of dinner.
Petrolunga is open for lunch, I believe, and they have good like thin, like Roman style pizza.
Right.
If they're open for lunch, which I think they are,
Yep.
that's probably one of the go-tos.
I mean, you really do know your shit, huh?
But I'm sure I'm missing something because that's when you get further north.
Yeah.
it gets harder.
Okay. How
for
about
me.
this? Let's go Upper East Side. So that is Mimo. That is 79th Street. That all the way into North Bay Village. All the way.
I'm thinking, Limoni Cafe.
Oh, solid choice.
Limoni Cafe is probably going to have the most range, consistency, and quality all in one spot. And it's been
They
there,
got
what,
great
10
great
plus years
sandwiches
too?
there. Yeah.
Great sandwich. If not, Baker and Barista is right there.
Baker, great coffee.
Fantastic. Or
Yep.
Finca's Coffee, which is inside the Upper Buena Vista little area.
Yep. Love that. I love that Upper Buena Vista.
Too.
Which one? El Turco.
Turco?
Yeah, El Turco's great.
Which, yeah, fantastic.
Quality lunch spot.
All of those are listed on the map.
That is amazing. And then last but not least, give me, and I usually end it around here, but I'm a little curious with you. Who are some of the up and comers that you're excited to see opening or expanding, or, you know, just maybe guys that trained under other guys, or, you know, people maybe just really piecemealing it together?
There's a lot of things that I'm excited for, and it's already have started, but it's these local chefs that are opening up their second ventures. So like Pablo, not just having Zitsum, but Dojo Izakaya, and like local guys that are opening up their secondary ventures and taking that risk of expanding their footprint. And guys that started as pop-ups and now finding their homes, like Eduardo, and you're rocking the Wolf of Taco shirt, and like having that, finally having them have a home is always so nice.
Love the Wolf of Taco. I was so happy that we were able to do that for them, man.
So I'm excited to see the locals continue to shine in a space that does have a lot of noise. So making sure that they continue to grow and elevate and have a home, and, you know, be able to get better and do better work. Yeah, just Apocalypse has things in up and coming. They're whether it's an Apocalypse venture or a Lala's venture or a third venture that they might be talking about.
May or may not be, right?
Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of things that we can't disclose.
Of course. I'm excited, man. This is the kind of stuff I like.
For how many people are starting to love and enjoy this that we do.
Right.
It's not just the quote unquote foodies. It's now your average Miami person has knowledge about certain places and certain openings and certain closings. Like, people are passionate to be part of this industry.
Right.
You don't have to be a chef or a waiter or a server to understand what's happening. People are curious and genuine about openings and closings and feel like they're part of the community. And I
think because, you know, at the end of the day, food brings us all together.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Dude, George, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
This was really an honor, man. Seriously.
And remember, don't take a bite without me, brother.
Absolutely not. Never. Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Peace.